welcome to the family. How is everybody? Join me here in New Jersey while we go over some of these Milwaukee tools that we just received. Brand new Milwaukee tools. Hey, Milwaukee, what are you doing, man? Are you trying to get us old school guys to get away from Klein, Greenlee, Ideal, Gardner, Bender? You guys ever hear of Gardner, Bender? I don't know if you have or not. But let's go over it. Look, brand new tools. I just opened them up. So if they look really shiny, it's because they're brand new. Now, I will say that I am a pro Milwaukee person, that I do enjoy Milwaukee. As you can see, I have my little Milwaukee pen. Now, let's go over some of these tools. In fact, I'm just going to dump them out on the table. And let's go over each one. Now, let's pick the first one. I'm an electrician. Hopefully you're an electrician, okay? If you're not an electrician, that's fine, but hand tools. So this is what they call a lineman. You guys know what linemans are. Now, would I buy these linemans? I would not buy these linemans. Are these linemans even close to Klein? They're not even close to Klein. Why? Well, one is because they're not Klein. Two is there's just something about the handles that feel more childish than the Klein. I don't know why, but I can almost flex those handles. It feels like I could literally bend these handles together. I can feel them flexing. That's one reason I don't like. Number two, there's no stake-on crimp here. They should have a stake-on crimp. All linemen should have an ability to crimp on a stake-on, a flag connector, whatever type of connector. Number two, there's no knurling here. There should be some way to grab here, to grab my fish tape. Now, I guess I can put my fish tape in this gap here and then bite down and pull on it. But so I'm going to go with no. Dikes. Certainly dikes are the most important tool that we have as electricians. And I have to say, these seem okay. Now, it's going to be a tough battle for me to give up my Klein diagonals for these. However, it's worth a look. Now, one thing I don't get is, why is there a hole? Why is there a hole in these? I don't get that. Some of these tools, just like these linemans, have a hole in them. A hole. Now, the only thing I could think of why you would have a hole there is maybe to hang it. But if you hang it, you're going to have it hang like that. That doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't know who would ever use that to hang. I mean, are we using it to bend solid wire? Are we using it to make a little type of hook? Is that what it's for? I mean, who's doing that with a pair of linemans? So no. So the dikes, I don't know why they have them in the dikes either. So I'm going to say these dikes seem, I like how they're made in the USA. They seem okay. They seem okay. So these are going to be in the up to you pile. These dikes are actually pretty nice, but they're not like the Klein. Now, I can really flex these guys. I mean, I know I got a good grip, but look at that. I can flex. That's actually flexing closed. It's already closed. So I don't like that. I don't know why. You can see certainly how much more acute the angle is, right? Here's the difference, right? Look, you can see the difference on the angle. So I always prefer an angled pair, but these are nice too because they go right in and out of your tool pouch. Sometimes these can get a little bit jammed up a little bit. So I do like the flat one, but I prefer these. So again, I'm going to put this in the medium category. Now, this one doesn't have a hole, but this one has two like little grips here, two little holes here. I don't know if that's to hold it. I don't know. So if anybody could know, or I'll ask Milwaukee, why you put that little hole in? I don't know what that little hole is. So let's go on to the needle nose. So these medium. Now, I like these. I'm going to give these a yes. I like these. I would buy these. Not because of the hole. I would buy these for, there seem to be more use to the needle nose than the standard needle nose. For example, It's got that reaming capability. This is actually designed to ream. It has a nice reaming capability. So for like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch conduit, you can really get a nice ream. But how often are we using needle nose running conduit? I don't know about you, but I'm not. I'm certainly not going to say to my kid, hey, hand me the needle nose so I can deburr the conduit, but it has it in there. This one does have the knurling here. It does have the ability to grab something, and it seems very well built. So I'm going to say yes to these. I do like these. Again, there's a hole, and I don't know why there's a hole there. And the hole isn't so perfect. The hole is like kind of haphazard like made. I don't know if you can see the hole. Sorry for using my front forward camera, but I don't know why there's a hole there. I don't know. But so I'm going to say yes to these. I'm going to give a definite yes to this. I like this. Now, it's going to be tough for you to get me to get off my orange Klein torpedo level. The orange Klein torpedo level is in an exceptional level, right? But this is featherweight. This is billet aluminum, you can tell. It's very well made. It's very well made. It's super lightweight. I mean, extremely lightweight, and can easily fit in your pocket, in and out. Now, not to offend anybody, but I never use a level when bending conduit. Now, you may use a level when bending conduit, but I never use a level when bending conduit. I don't get paid to make perfect bends. I get paid to make workman-like bends. My job is to make as much money as I can, to charge you the most that I can, and do workman-like safe work. I'm not here to make artwork. You know, a lot of you guys, I see videos and you're making these artwork and the wires are literally folded and bent. Hey, God bless you. Fantastic. But that doesn't help my pocketbook when I do that. And after, 40 years as an electrician, if you can't bend a 90 or a 30-degree bend by hand without a level, you got to work on it. But I definitely do not use a level when I bend conduit. And even if I'm bending multiple conduits, I never use a level. I just make sure I measure it right, put my bender on in the right spot. So I'm not a fan of this. So that's what this is for. So this is designed to go into your conduit, tighten it down, lays flat, and then as you bend, you got your 30, your 45, your 90, and your 0. I get that. But I wouldn't use that for this. But let's check the magnetic force of it though. So here's oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to try and throw it off now, right? I'm in my kitchen, by the way. I'm going to try and throw it off. Okay, well, I was able to throw it off, but that's pretty good. So I'm going to say yes to this. Now, I know the Klein is about $30. It's maybe a little bit more, maybe $35. I don't know how much this is. I'm guessing that this is by these companies, they're trying to get into the Klein, and they're like penny for penny the same price. So you can see here, guys, I just opened up all these tools. They're brand new. Okay, they're brand new. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I've not used them in the field. I probably won't use them in the field, but I do need a spare set of tools at my vacation place. So I think I'm going to bring the Milwaukee's there. Now let's continue. Let's go into the adjustable wrench. I like the adjustable wrench. I don't consider this an electrical tool. I think this is a little bit big to have on your tool belt as an electrician. This is more of a plumber's size. We use these, but there's no real yes or no. This is a 10-inch 7410. I don't know how much it is, but I'm going to say yes to this. I'm also going to say yes to this. I like this too. I like the old school channel locks. Some of my new Klein have like a little button. You have to push the button and then it goes up and down. You guys see that? I'm not a fan of that yet. I like this. I like how this collapses amongst themselves so that you can use this as a tool. You can use this in a way to pry something when you're working on something. Gives you a little bit of anti-marring if you're trying to pop out something. If you're a plumber, you seem like more plumber. Also, you could use this maybe as a spade to go in and turn like a spade wrench or spud wrench. You could maybe use it for that. I'm going to say yes to this. This is a yes. Now this I played with earlier, guys. This is a definite no. 100% no. These are probably some of the poorest strippers I've ever used. I hate to say that. I'm going to plug another company that I really, my favorite strippers aren't even Klein. My favorite strippers aren't Knipex. My favorite strippers aren't Vera. They're not Milwaukee. They are Racketeers. Racketeers makes a green pair called Crocs. Are spectacular. They have two sizes. They have a smaller size, which is like this, and one a little bit bigger. I love them. Love them. They're green. They're called Crocs by Racketeers. So this is a no. Let's continue. We talked about screwdrivers. These are probably some of the most cheap ass screwdrivers I've ever seen. These remind me of when we go to Home Depot and we buy at the very bottom, there's always those Chinese tools. Well, of course, all tools are Chinese, but they've got those dollar screwdrivers with the orange handles. You know, they got the throwaway tools. When you go away, you need something quick, you buy. That's what this reminds me of. I mean, I hate to say that to you, Klein, but you really did a poor job with these. Now, unless there's something I'm missing, I don't know why you would make a screwdriver like this. Now, I do like how you knurled. I keep using the word knurl a lot, but you actually put on a little grip on the edge of all the screwdrivers. If you look at these, there's an actual knurling there to actually grab. I like that. Even on the Phillips, it has a nice little knurl to grab it. I like that. I do like how it's knurled here as well, because oftentimes I'm spinning it with my hand, right? You know that. You can like spin fast a screwdriver. So I like that feature here. But certainly I'm going to say no to these because of these. Now, these are Klein, and they're night and day. Look, here's the exact same screwdriver. Exact same screwdriver. If you could sit with me right now and I gave you, I said, close your eyes and put one in your hand, you tell me which one, there's no way you wouldn't select this one over this one. I mean, this one feels honestly like you can just break. I feel like I can pull the head off. This is exceptionally poor. Milwaukee, I don't know what you did. And if I'm missing something, please tell me. 3/16. This is what it says on the back of that one. This is about 10 years old. This one's been in the field with me, and this is brand new, and I don't know why you made this tool. I don't know why you did that. But so yes to Klein. Let me show you Klein I really love. This is a screwdriver that was sent. I love this screwdriver. And one of the reasons I love it is it's got a locking collar here. See how that popped right up when I push up? It locks it in and pulls it out. Watch. I like that because if it was the other way, if you had to pull down, whenever you used it, you would loosen it up and it would come out. I like that feature where you have to go out, you have to go up to get the bit out. So when I lock it in, it's in there. It ain't coming out. It's in there. I can't pull it out. If I push up on the collar, it comes right out. I really, really think that's pretty cool. And it's insulated up to 1,000 volts. And you can see the different heads. It's got different heads. It's got a nice big Phillips head. I love this screwdriver. This is by Klein. So I'm going to give Milwaukee, I'm going to give you a passing grade, but not by much. This is a fantastic screwdriver. This is a terminal screwdriver. Every electrician has to have this. If you don't have this right now in your front pocket, you're not an electrician yet, right? I mean, we always going to need a cabinet tip or some way for really tiny screws. But check this out. I think it has two different sizes. It does. Look at that. Look how small that is. Look at that, man. Tell me you haven't needed that. Tell me you didn't open something up, those little green terminals, and you needed one of these bits and you didn't have it. Tell me you didn't. Tell me that. That's incredible. I love this. Again, that's Klein. What's this? Does it screw? No, it doesn't screw back. You know what that's for? That's for here. When you put this on your hand and you can spin it, right? So if I got a screw, I can rotate it, right? And that, you put pressure on your palm, and that's how you would use this screwdriver. I love this screwdriver. This screwdriver is probably as expensive as any screwdriver. It's not cheap, but once you have it, you own it. This one I'm not even going to open up. It's a square tip, which I really love, square tip, but these screwdrivers are so weak, I'm not even going to open it. So that's going to go, I'm not even going to bring that with me. That's going to stay here. So that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is my update on tools. But I got a little bonus for you. Me and Extendo want to talk to you real quick about these awful devices right here. The greed, the changes from these devices right here. I don't get it. You know what we're going to need soon? We're going to need main breakers to be GFCI protected. Did you see the 2023 code that they're now enforcing? These guys are required in everything now. The whole kitchen has to be on these, even the refrigerator. What old school guy would ever put a refrigerator on one of these? You guys know what this is? This is a GFCI receptacle. You know how this works? This works by measuring the outflow versus the inflow. There's a little coil in there, and the hot wire goes through that coil. And when current is energized, it creates a magnetic field. So it's a magnetic field. Well, the return path must be equal and opposite of that magnetic field. So the neutral also passes through that little coil. If there's any indifference, 6 milliamps or more or less, up to 6 milliamps, this thing has a solenoid valve in it. Literally creates a difference in voltage in that toroidal coil, which sends a signal to a solenoid, which opens up the contacts. That's how these work. But how the hell could this work on a sump pump or on a refrigerator? Well, they say the technology has come a long way, and electricians need to know that. So in 2015, they changed these things. That's why when we were younger, these used to be like $5. Remember that? 5, 6, $7. Used to buy a 3-pack from Home Depot for like $12. And now these are what? $30 a piece and more. You got to charge your customers $100 for this sometimes, right? Why? It's got this little light right there. That little light started in 2015. So if you have that little light on your receptacle, it's not for you to say, oh, when I hit the test button, the light went on. No, this device does a self-test every 30 seconds. This device runs a self-test every 30 seconds and will internally trip itself just being idle. And that started in 2015. And because of that, the technology in this really reduces nuisance tripping. So now they're required everywhere, which is ridiculous. An oven, I have to put a 40 amp oven in. So I got to put a 40 amp GFCI circuit breaker in for an oven. What about the dryer? Does my dryer require GFCI? Yes, it does. Does my air conditioning require GFCI? This is a trick question. Does my outside condenser require? Now, when I mean GFCI, I'm talking protecting it, not necessarily size. So I've got a 5-ton air conditioning unit outside. It takes a 40 amp breaker. How do I feed that 40 amp breaker? I must provide GFCI protection. That's been paused because of nuisance tripping on AC compressors. So the code has paused the requirement. It's in the code, but they paused it until the new code in 2026. So once these things get even more sophisticated and more expensive, yes, it will be required. Is this good news or bad news? Is this good news or bad news for the electrician? This is good news. Guys, when they make changes, it's more work for us, more money for us. Our job is to get as much money as we can from you, to do workmanlike quality work as electricians. My job is to pick out and determine how much money can I charge you that you won't say no to. And in fact, that's one of the best things about being an electrician, going all in. What is all in? How do we go all in as an electrician? I'm going to give you that tip right now. And if you follow me and you listen to my advice, I could make you a $10 million man. Why? Because I did it. I'm 60. I'm a career electrician. And you only need 2 employees. You should never have more than 2 employees. If you do, you're just spinning your wheels and your bank account is just floating. When you have 2 employees and you have incredible skills, everything goes up. Everything goes up, right? And how do you get to that level? You get to that level by knowing how to charge your customers. So this is another opportunity for us to make money. When the NAC makes a change, like it did with the outside emergency disconnect for all residential services, at first we all went, what the fuck? Why would we want to do that? That's ridiculous. Until we realized that services jumped $1,000. We got an extra $1,000 for that change. If you don't charge $1,000 more, then hey, that's your peril. You better believe we're charging $1,000 plus on any service now because of that requirement. So think about that. Instead of going, damn, I failed inspection. Look, you learned. This is the new code. You need to share that with your customers. And the handymen who don't do it, that undercut you, they'll get flagged. They can't pass inspection. So stand your ground, charge the most you can charge, do quality work though. Take care of the customer. I'm not talking ripping them off. I'm talking about going all in. How do you go all in? What is our risk? Okay, you're the customer. I'm the electrician. You asked me to come and give you a price to upgrade your service. You've got a 100 amp service and you want to go to 200 amp service. The lowest price is $2,800. My price, $4,800. That's how I go all in. You and I are playing poker. Okay? I see your 2 hold cards. They're down. I don't even have to look at your cards. I can tell by your home, how clean your home is, where you live. These are all the signs that I know how much I can charge. I can tell, are you going to be using credit? You're going to be able to pay cash. I can just tell what type of customer you are. So how I go all in is, hey, it's $4,800. And now you either have to call my bluff. You either have to say, no, I know that job can be done for $2,800 and I've got a guy that's going to do it. So your risk is, okay, you can save that $2,000, but is this guy going to do the same job as I'm going to do? Is he going to come in and leave the place completely perfect as when I came there? Is things going to be labeled? Are there going to be fingerprints? Is there going to be any dirt? Am I going to disrupt the house with power out all day? That's going to be the difference. So I'm going to be explaining that to you. Hey, I got to put this disconnect up. Hey, I'm going to get you temporary power. Hey, I've got a battery backup here. I don't have to have a generator running. So these are the tips and the tricks, guys, that you have to do to get wealthy. Look, we're not here for charity. You want to call me greedy? You want to call me, hey, that's not the Christian thing to do. It's Christmas time. You're talking about charging the most out of people. Hey, there's charity. You charge someone a lot of money, then go give it away then. Give your money away. Wire something for free then for somebody. Do something nice for someone. So it's not all about greed, but I'm here for myself and my family. I'm not here for you. What good is it if I have $10 million if I can't spend it, if I can't take care of my family? And how am I even going to get $10 million if I listen to you? If I want to be fair and honest to everybody and do things at the absolute lowest price, that's what you do. I want to do things fair and honest at the highest price. Well, how do we determine what the highest price is? We ask. And now with ChatGTP, you can ask, hey, how much does it cost for a 200 amp service in Milford, New Jersey? And you're going to get an answer like this. You're going to get, oh, it's $800 and it's $10,000. You're going to get a huge wide range. And if your numbers are consistently down into 500 versus the 10,000, that's your fault. So that's how you determine what your market is. You want to be at the highest end of the market. Why? Because it's your money, my friend. This is our pension. This is the way we pay us. This is the risk that we take being in business. You better believe there's a reward. Otherwise, go join the union and make your $100 an hour. Enjoy yourself. Have no responsibility. Just go to work. No risk, no peril. But you'll never be a $10 million man. So if you want to be a baller, you want to pay for your kids' college, you want to have all the money and vacation and enjoy life, you must be able to charge the right amount. Is there any questions? Never work for a boss next year. You just help boss man get a new vehicle. Yes, guys, if you're a tradesperson, your only reason to be in the trades is to work for yourself. There's no reason to learn to be the best electrician, the best handyman, the best appliance repair guy, the best at anything, and work for someone else. It makes zero sense. That's called apprenticeship. That's called paying your dues. So unless you want to get into, and this is the reason why, I'm not anti-union. I'm not. I love the union. I love doing work after union electricians. I've never been union, so I'm not going to speak out of tone. I'm not going to put them down, okay? But if you want to be an employee, go to the union. If you want to be a baller, you go on your own. And a lot of you can't do it. If you hate people, if you just hate yourself, you hate life, hey, just become an hourly employee. But if you can engage people, if you can teach people, if you get excited, if you're good at what you do, nothing will hold you back. Nothing. Just saying. Don't want money on shit and goes up. I'm missing your, I got to read the text is so fucking small here. That's an ugly cat, dude. This is Extendo, bro. This is Extendo. Extendo the cat. All right, let me go back. I got some comments here. This is my first time, by the way, or second time going live. I think this is YouTube, right? I never go live on YouTube. Hello, just joined. Where does that go? Good stuff. Like the content. Nice. Thank you, man. And now they're 45 for 20 amp. I know they're expensive. I'm an apartment maintenance man, and I work with those plugs daily, sir. The knowledge you're doing, man, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, these GFCIs, yeah, that's what we were talking about. Cool. They pause it till it's convenient for them. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, but that's my cat, man. This is Extendo. Extendo. Hello, Extendo. Hello, Extendo. I don't know if I guess it's a girl because it's got a thing on its neck. Yeah, it's a female. Only females come around me. Guys, got any questions before we go? Career electrician here. Hey, quick question for you. You guys know what a ferrule is? A ferrule? We were talking about how we wire devices with stranded wire, okay? And this is the way I do it. If you can see that little tag there, that's how I do it. So I strip wire back and I leave the tail on it. Now, but I was sharing what a ferrule is. You should always use a ferrule. That's a ferrule. Anytime you have stranded wire, that's what we use. Put that on the stranded wire, and then you need a star crimper. You can't use dikes, you can't use Lyman's, you can't use a Stay-Con crimper. You must use a specific crimper for ferrules. And there it is. And I don't want to waste it because this is for number 10 wire. But yeah, we're talking about how we could feed these with stranded wire, how you connect the ground to it. This is really a pain in the ass to connect grounds to. Why they did that, I don't know. You ever notice that? You can't loop around the ground on these. You ever try to do that, guys? You have to put one wire in and then pigtail it. This is good for just one wire. But it has that little collar on it so that you can sneak the wire behind it. This is actually a pretty nice device. You can see that collar it has on it. So the wire can go right into that and tighten right up. So, do you use this when you use these? Do you use this when you use these? Why not? You don't put 2 wraps of tape around your devices when you're done wiring them? Why not? Too much time, too much work, too much energy? That's workmanlike. That's what that is. Let me ask you this, electricians. You guys can comment on this because on TikTok, you have to be a member to communicate with me, okay? I'm a fledgling on YouTube. People hate me on YouTube. I don't know. No one likes my stuff. But on TikTok, I get a little bit more traction. So you guys can comment on this and I'll answer. When you become a member of my team, I'm all yours. So if you come work for me, I want someone to tell me how far away, there's 64 of us here. I'm going to pull this wire out. I want you to pretend that the out of the box is here. This is the box. How much wire would you leave before you cut the wire? This is how long you leave the wire out of the box. Not 6 inches. This long. You come work for me and I come back to the job and I don't have this much wire to work with out of the box, you're going to hear about it. This wire is supposed to be here for 50 years, guys. And I can't believe how many of you cut the wire like right here. You beginners, you homeowners, you amateurs, I always know because you cut the wire because you think it's easier with shorter wire and you forget how much easier it is to feed the box, to put this back into the box, to take it out and work on it. So in fact, I'm having something built right now overseas, a vacation home, and I told the electrician, you better leave me a lot of wire. I don't want to come back because it's all concrete, so it's all THHN wire. It's all in conduit. And I saw him rough in some, and he left short wires like this. I'm like, dude, I don't want them that short, man. You leave them long. Now, when we put this device in, a lot of you guys think, oh, the shorter wire. But if I cut it here, you know how hard it is for me to bend that wire and put this in? If I've got really long wires, I can accordion the wire up. I can accordion this wire and put it into the box. It is so much easier and workmanlike leaving the wires long than short. And that's it. That's my tip for you today. Any questions? That's a lot to stuff back in. No, it's not. Yes, no short wire. What is code on that? Code, I believe, is 6 inches. 6 inches is the code. That's the minimum 6 inches. 6 inches is way too short. 1 foot. 1 foot. You try it. If you're working right now on something, try it. Try using a foot versus 6 inches and see how easy it is to fold that up right behind the device and push it straight in. And that way, when you take a device out in the future to troubleshoot or replace it, you got plenty of room. And you better put some Scotch 33 plus tape, 3M 33 plus. You guys remember when this used to be like $1.50 a roll? Any old school guys out there? Now this is $10 a roll. Put 2 wraps around it. Make sure you go underneath the screws. 2 wraps around it. Is it required? It's not required. Is it workmanlike? Yes, it is. You remind me of my dad, cousin, master electrician, New Jersey license. My license is 12056. His is 7484. Mine's 12,000. 12056. I got my license in 1990. So he must have been. It's a waste of wire and it's expensive. You're wrong. You're wrong. The only time that's a waste of wire is if you are trying to steal the wire. I don't want to say you're wrong. I don't mean to say you're wrong. It's not my way. The longer the wire, the better. And another electrician taught me that lesson when I first started on my own. And I started doing residential because that's what you do when you start out. And I roughed in all these hi-hats. And I had all this long 14-2 wire, really long 14-2 wire for hi-hats. And I started cutting it. I'm cutting it out, so that the hi-hat could fit on top of my ladder. And I would cut the wire there so I could work like a little work table. And the guy goes to me, "Why are you cutting the wire?" And I'm like, "It's so long." He goes, "Maybe they want to move the light in the beginning, in the future. Why cut the wire?" And he's right. Guys, leave your wires long. Long, long, long. Certainly if you've got a 6-gang box, you can still go a foot on each one of those wires. A single gang box. Now, if you're using one of these little handy boxes because you're dealing with 5/16 furring strips, that's a different story. But in standard wiring, new construction, not furring strips, not those little shit boxes, you want to use at least a foot. And for you who say that's a waste of wire, I disagree. I think that the longer the wire, in fact, if I came and pulled your stuff out, I could tell how good of an electrician by how easy I can pull a device out. If I go up to any switch that you have, that you finished, and I take the cover off and I pull a device out, I should be able to pull that straight out without taking out any other devices. A lot of you guys will go like whip, whip, whip. You'll like use these stab-ins on the back and you'll use like little 6-inch tails to each one. That's awful. That's awful. I would rather using either a wire nut, get a big wire nut, red wire nut, and just muscle down on a wire nut and have individual pieces. Now, maybe they don't have to be a foot long, but you better believe that they're long. They're very long. I don't need to make it just right. I want it to be long and have it fit in. And I can push wire in, long wire in, a lot easier than short wire, especially solid wire. What else we got? I got guys stabbing the wires into the back of the outlets. Never do that. I've almost burned my house down. Almost every receptacle that I backstabbed when it was allowed. Well, I guess it is for 15 amp. Dude, I'm telling you, I caught my son's room when he was a kid. It was all black. It was like burning inside. And it created like a black mark on this drywall. And I took it out and it was the fucking stab in the back. Now, I will stab for lighting.
I remember that.
You remember that, dude?
Yeah.
That was scary as shit, right? Especially if you're plugging in like space heaters and stuff, you know, bedroom circuits. If you've done that, go home and fix that. And in fact, this is another reason why I don't want to brag, but success, let's just call it success, is because if I saw that, I would tell the homeowner, dude, someone stabbed into the back. This is a no-no. You want your house to burn down, or we're going to fix it? And you fix them. But you're lazy. You don't want to do the work. I get it. You just want to make your quick money and go. But when you really want to get rich at this, when you really want to hit that $10 million mark, you'll do these little things and you'll get paid. So switches, yes, I will stab in the back for switches. Receptacles, no. Never on a receptacle. And I'm not a fan of the new Wagyu. You know, the new Wagyu connectors on the outlets. Obviously, if they're there, they're UL approved, but they may fail too, just like the stabs. This guy's the real deal. Shun the non-believers. Thank you, bro. Listen, trolls, I've been doing social media now for 3 years. I've been teaching 100,000 electricians on TikTok for 3 years now. Nobody can troll me. I don't care what they say. I leave all my comments open. The only difference is here you can just freely comment. On TikTok, you have to be a fan. You have to join, and then you can make a comment, because otherwise I get too many comments. So you can say whatever you want. Because look, I know I'm an incredibly handsome. I know it. I mean, look at me in Extendo. I know that. So how are you going to troll me? Who moves an outlet? If you are doing a whole house, that's a lot of waste on a what if. No, but dude, you have to understand, your wiring has to be there for 50 years. You're not wiring for today. In your mind, you are. You're wiring for today. But what happens when I want to put a smart receptacle in? I want Alexa to be able to control this. So I'm going to change the outlet. So what am I going to do? I'm going to cut it off, right? I'm going to cut the wire off. I'm going to put a new one. So if I've got this much wire to work with, now I even got this much wire to work with. You have to think of the long term, bro. That's why you leave the wire long. And if you want to call it waste, you're not charging enough money. If this is affecting your bottom line, then you're not charging the right amount of money. And I'm not going to put you down. I don't want to put you down. I appreciate the comment, and I get what you're saying. Who's going to move an outlet? I get that. It's not moving the outlet. It's extending and changing the outlet in the future. It's safely being able to work on it. If I send an apprentice there, if I send someone there who maybe doesn't have as much experience as you, I want him to be able to freely pull that out. It's got tape wrapped around it. And now he can safely remove that tape with nothing in the way. That's why we leave the wire long. So no one moves an outlet. No bueno. I redo them all. There you go. Redo them all. And that's how you make money. Guys, think about, let's talk about profit, right? Let's talk about profit. We're here to charge as much money as we can and do it in a workman-like environment. And when you do that, you're not putting in used circuit breakers. You're not putting in used GFIs. You're not cutting the wires short. You're doing everything above and beyond in a workman-like, because you got the money to do it. When you get the right budget to do it, everything changes. When you can get away from charging the minimum to get the job, and you can start getting paid because of you, customers call you, they're not calling an electrician. Like, the biggest kiss of death is, my phone rings and it's, send me an electrician on Monday, we're having an issue with the front gate. That's the kiss of death. What I want to hear is, can you send me Ken, your son, who's installed that gate and worked on the gate? Can you send Garrett? Can you send Chris? I want you to specifically ask for the person that you want. I don't want you to want an electrician. I want you to want us. That's the difference between successful and non-successful. That's the difference between vanilla ice cream electricians and really good quality, successful electricians. The vanilla ice cream electricians can work blindfold, right? They know how to rough in a house and they go through, they bend their conduits. They're just vanilla ice cream electricians. If you ask them a question, they'll say, I don't know. That's a low voltage guy. I don't know. I don't do communication wire. I don't have no idea what fiber optic is. I don't do solar. I don't do batteries. I don't work in a power generation. I've never heard of storm anticipation mode. I've never done work in a data center. And there's a reason. It's because you're not there yet. And you don't have the guidance to get you there. So how do you get there? How do you get there? How do you get away from vanilla ice cream work with a guy saying, it's too expensive to leave the wire this long. Let's save money and more efficient. How do we get away from that to, hey man, let's go to Paris for winter. Hey, let's go build a house outside the country. Hey, let's put a swimming pool in. Hey, let's pay, what college you want to go to? No problem, I got this. How do we get from struggling vanilla ice cream to Rocky Road, to Moose Track ice cream? We do that by doing quality, workmanlike at a high price for residential customers. Because that's all we're going to have, right? We're only going to have residential customers. We're not going to have commercial customers because we're too new. Nobody knows us. So before I get off this live, I'm going to give you a tip. Okay? It's a free tip from me to you. So we just got a phone call and the customer says, my switch doesn't work. My lights don't work. Okay, how much you charge me to come out? Well, we charge $159 service charge. So we can't give you an estimate because we don't know what the issue is. So $159 will come out and we'll diagnose the problem and we'll let you know. Fine, you go out there. You go out there and you're putting on your little booties. You're clean. Your clothes are clean. You have clean tools. Your appearance is clean. You smell okay. You could have a little cologne, but you don't smell like cigarettes. You don't smell like weed. You don't come in looking like an idiot. You come in looking like the man. You go in and you fix things. You put tape on things. You work properly. You leave the wire long. You do exceptional work. No fingerprints. Things are labeled. And then what happens? One day, you're going to work for someone whose son is a director of a Fortune 500 company. One day, one of these customers that you're going to treat exceptional is going to recognize that and want to get involved with you. And they will call you to work for them, with them, on some big customer, some big company. And that is how you get from broke electrician to commercial, successful, wealthy, life-changing, never looking back, incredible powerhouse with only 2 employees. That's how it's done, my friends. By going into every job like you're working for Elon Musk's mother. I don't know if she passed away. I hate to say that, but or Jeff Bezos's. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what happened to me. My big break came because I went and did a receptacle, a residential receptacle in a basement at 7 o'clock at night in Freehold, New Jersey. I was working for a little builder, never worked for builders, but in the beginning, you got to do what you got to do. I was working for a small little contractor and he called me, he goes, hey, Garrett, we did a basement years ago. You didn't do the work, but one of the outlets isn't working. You mind going there? And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay, I'll go there. So I was in Red Bank and I was beat and I'd leave and I get to the place and I was put my little booties on. I came in there and fixed it. I made it. I was polite. It was 7 p.m. and I just fixed it. Next thing I know, I get a call from one of my biggest customers that I have to this day. And I couldn't believe why I got the call. I'm going, who the hell? I'm not even saying names. And I show up to the company like, who called me? So I'm looking at this job and they wanted me to install a 100 kVA UPS. Here I'm a residential electrician and the job that they called me in was to do 100 kVA UPS system. And I'm looking around and I had no idea what that was. No idea. And this is going back to like 1990, 1999. So I'm thinking, how the fuck did these people call me? And it turns out I saw the guy. The guy that I worked at that house in Freehold was the director. And he was like, hey, and I was like, oh. And let me tell you, I owe him so much. He's changed my life. And the lessons that I learned from you guys is what I'm trying to share with you. This is just my way. Please remember that. Sometimes my videos are a little insulting, in your face. I am from New Jersey. It's not my intent, okay? I'm just telling you the way I did it. And the way I did it was never a union, never an employee, and never go into debt. Never go into debt. Your cash flow should handle all your expenses. We can go into that on another detail. And by the way, how many of you 38 guys put $72,000 into their SEP this year? Has any of you non-union electricians put any money into your pension this year? Could someone answer that before we go? Has anybody paid any money? Thank you, dude. Love the Rocky Road analogy. You get it. Has anybody paid into their SEP, self-employed pension? Let's ask this. Is there anybody here in their own boss? Is their own boss? There's 20 people here. 3,000 in my 401k, self-employed. Laugh out loud. Okay, you got 3,000. You can put up to $72,000 into your SEP, which is an incredible gift. And it's only for self-employed. It's our self-employed pension plan. And if you can feed that 3 times in your career, you're done. You're done. If you can max out your SEP 3 times in your career, it's not easy because it's $72,000 now. So if you can profit enough where you can afford to put $72,000 tax-free from your gross earnings away, you do that 3 times, by the time you're my age, you'll have $10 million. I could remember I did it in 2004, 2003, 2000. It was 42 grand was the cap. Every year, the IRS allows a little bit more. It used to be 70. This year, it's 72. So back then, it was like 42,000. And I remember a red Corvette, brand new red Corvette, was $42,000. And I thought to myself, fuck, do I want to write a check for $42,000 and give it to this financial guy? Or do I want to buy the Corvette? What do you think I did? What do you think I did? You think I paid $42,000 for a brand new Corvette? Or did I put $42,000 into the SEP? Well, let me tell you, that Corvette, not only did I not buy that Corvette, but that $42,000 today I got a call is over $1 million. That one time that I put that 42 grand and it killed me to do it. It crushed me to do it. I remember because back then you didn't have Vanguard. It's so easy. It wasn't online. Back then you had to see someone. So I literally had a checkbook and I wrote $42,000. And I remember walking over because my neighbor was my financial guy and knock on the door. And he wasn't there. His wife was there. And I was like, this is for, and she took the check like, oh, okay. And shut the door. I come back and I was cutting the grass. I'm going, oh my God, I just gave that guy 40. I could be driving a brand new red Corvette. Well, let me tell you what happened. Not only did that $42,000 today is over $1 million, which I've never touched, which will continue to grow. I bought 2 Corvettes since then, cash, with the money and cash flow. So just because you sacrifice now doesn't mean you're going to sacrifice when you get older. So a few years later, I was able to buy that brand new Corvette. And then a few years later, I bought another one. But I still had to make sure my SEP was paid. Okay? So let's not celebrate debt. Let's not celebrate buying things. Let's celebrate how we're taking care of ourselves. Who's going to take care of you when you're 60 years old? Who's going to give a fuck about you? And I have to say, I have a cousin who's just desperately looking for Social Security. He's 60 years old like me, and he says definitively, I have to work till I'm 63. And I thought, 63? Who the fuck wants to work till 63? That's odd. Usually someone says 62 or 66 or 67. He goes, no, because at 63, I'll make $2,050 a month in my Social Security. If I take the Social Security and I'm 62, I get $1,800. But if I wait one more year, I get $2,050. What an awful, awful, awful place to be. Don't be like that. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're working just to get Social Security. Social Security is icing, is a gravy. Social Security doesn't mean shit to me. Run your businesses the right way. Charge the right amount of money. Pay yourself first. So I got a little challenge for everyone that's watching. And no, there's not many. It's YouTube. I don't have many people. I want you to charge $80 more on your next job. $80. If you got a job that's $300, I want you to charge $380. If your job's $500, charge $580. I want you to add $80 to your next job. If you don't have a job, wait till you get the next opportunity and add mentally $80 to your number. And I want you to be surprised. Now, if you tell me, Garrett, I didn't get the job because I charged $80 more, you got the wrong customers. So you will get your $80 more, and you're going to be like, fuck, I got $80. But what I want you to do with that $80, because I just gave you that $80, you didn't get it. I told you to get it. I told you how to get it. Now you got it. I want you to go home. I want you to open up a Vanguard account. Don't pay anybody. Don't pay a broker. Don't pay a advisor. Don't go to the bank. Just call Vanguard up. They do it for free. And I want you to open up an SCP or a standard brokerage account, or a 401k, an IRA account. Call them up. They'll walk you through it. Cost you nothing. And I want you to put that $80 in there. And that $80 you never touch. That $80 is you can't breathe or you can't live, you're dying, then you can take that money out. Other than that, that $80 stays invested into VOO, some sort of S&P 500. Don't buy NVIDIA. Don't go out and buy Microsoft, Google. I know you, the big seven. Don't buy any of that. Just buy the S&P 500 and forget it. Forget you even have that account. That account doesn't help you buy a house. That account doesn't help you buy a car. That account is when you are retiring. And that $80 will fucking grow into hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then I want you to do that on every job. Start paying yourself, guys. We're here to get rich. If you're an American, if you're watching me and you're an American and you're not rich, it's your fault. Your fault. Not my fault, your fault. Oh, I was born, my parents were drug addicts. I was born in the ghetto. I don't care. It's your fault you're not rich. Oh, I was born out of the country and my parents were immigrants. I don't care. It's your fault. There is no excuse. No excuse. It's all mindset. You got this, man. You got this, guys. Go out on your own. Get the balls to give up that weekly paycheck. You got the balls to do it? You got this. You won't let yourself fail. Because what will happen is you go out on your own and you don't have work, you're going to get desperate. You're going to get scared. So what's that going to do? That's going to get you off your ass and get you into companies. You're going to be knocking on doors. Believe me, you'll find work. You better believe it, you will. And if you have to be cheaper because you're brand new in business, it's okay. It's okay. But don't give it away. Don't give it away. And that was my first live on YouTube. I don't know why YouTube is so hard for me to get traction. I don't know if it's an older audience or it's just, I don't know. It's just hard for me to get traction on YouTube. I got like 500 videos on YouTube. And it's the weakest performing out of all the social media. Anyway, guys, love you, man. Thank you so much for being here, bros. We'll talk to you later, man.